Hello and welcome to Vintage Magazine Monday. Rod and Custom, September of 1957. Henry's Best in Modern Dress. Model T today. If you're a Model T fan, you better stay tuned to this episode. It's jam-packed with a variety of Model Ts inside. We also got a little design and build your own tail fins. We are in 1957. And custom of the month is the Buick Ford from Utah. And that is a great looking Ford there. I can't wait to check that out. So let's get into our new spinner sensations from California. Eastern Auto. Well, Pro Football 1957. Of course, here is our contents. If you guys want to catch that. A little sneak peek or for a later date. Got Henry's Wonderful Model T. Little scrapbook, owner's handbooks, repair manuals from the Floyd Clymer publications. Again, like I said, this one's jam-packed with Model T stuff, so buckle in. Seldom does a manufactured product come along that captures the fancy of the world, as did Henry Ford's Model T. From late 1908 until mid-1927, teas poured from the factories eventually situated all over the globe. It has been said that the sun never sets on the Model T, and this could well be, for over 15 million were sent to all corners of the planet. And it has been further said that every 100 built, one exists today. And so with the nostalgic thought that there were yet 150,000 of the darn things still around, we respectfully dedicate this issue. And why shouldn't we? The T literally gave the world wheels, prompted all various kinds of automobile racing that we all know today, and closest to our own hearts ignited the hot rod spirit, which even now continues to grow. And there is the rest of the article if you'd like to catch up on that. Get you excited about the Model Ts inside. Got all the gentlemen out there hand cranking some. Letters to the editors. Little beef there on the East versus West. Seek and you shall find. Continue on. Mirror, mirror on the wall. I've noticed a marked similarity between the Rod and Custom pickup and Barris's truck, though I realize they are based on different body shells. Yours of the type used from 47 to 54 and the other from 55 on. How come the more or less identical treatments? The Rod and Custom pickup was basically designed nearly 4 years ago. Barris's was our last body shop stop. While we were commanding the undivided attention of the Barris employees, owner George commenced on a hauler of his own. Apparently he liked several of our ideas, expanded on them, and adapted them to his truck. A few other original Barris ideas were used on both vehicles where practicable. Little note there on two really great looking custom pickups. Here's our Buick Ford from Utah. Buick, Ford, and Packard donate parts for this month's best custom. That thing is just absolutely perfect in my eyes. Perfect stance. Gotta love the Buick trim. Great looking Packard taillights. It's got it all. Meet Utah's Buick Ford, so named because of Buick, Ford, and Packard. Parts involved in assembly. 52 Vicky. Show out some of the inside. Another great side shot. Front end. And of course the trunk. We got little notes here. Everything removable was sent to the platers, including the window molding, seat, boot, accessories on dash and glove compartment door. Apparently misfitting of the seat cover is merely a protection for the car's upholstering. Deck interior is tastefully done, neat yet not gaudy. Two-tone scheme matches interior of the cockpit. Jack, base, and lug wrench are chromed. Jack itself is black lacquered. Note pinstriping outline the taillight contours. Catch that. Fantastic car there. Model T. In your mind's eye, assume for a moment that an aircraft manufacturer suddenly Made available in saturation volume, a family-sized helicopter, durable in construction, foolproof in operation, and selling safe for around $1,000. Visualize the impact this would have on society today. In 1957, nothing short of this unlikely announcement would qualify as parallel in technological advance and in proper acceptance and condition to Henry Ford created when he offered the Model T to the world. Another great reading there. If you'd like to pause and read, of course. Nice little background shot. Several nice articles in here, as long as some great cars. First one up is lots of pickup. That is another great looking ride. Sneak down here at the interior. Tight squeeze through the door was chief Model T drawback, but pity the owners of a 25 and earlier models who had no driver's door at all. T identity ceases beneath beefed up frame, later V8 type axle, and plated spring peak from under stock fenders. Seal beams sit atop chrome crossbar, replacing the low candle power lights of Lizzie's era. Special hood panels were made to house Chevy V8 with cooling louvers punched in one-piece top. Unbelievable though it may seem, stock T radiator adequately cools the Chevy V8. Meticulous bodywork is covered by bittersweet orange lacquer. So we got an orange pickup. Lizzie's tail is essentially as it was built originally, except for giant skins barely covered the rear fenders. Tailgate hinges were chromed. Gas fill pipe is neatly out of sight just above the left rear fender. You can see it on the side shot there. Another great shot. It's a really good, perfect stance. Just a subtle rake. Beautiful truck. Got custom coverage. Our bright red unit. Terrific new era street rod coupe style. Under the hood is a 1941 GMC mill. Has McGurk 3/4 cam, milled head, intake manifold, mounts triple carbs, while the exhaust is fitted with dual headers. Driver's view of road and gauges, despite temperature telling motometer mounted atop radiator. Accurate heat gauge is contained within a right-hand instrument. Dials are all 1948 Buick. Got kind of a backwards image there. Split the image. Great look at that tall T. Tire out back. Strip Storm T. Could Henry have envisioned this? That wild ride. Little B modified presents fast look with covered cockpit and the driver's seat astern. Car's hood once was part of a Willis. There's the cockpit. Is a marvel of simplicity with lots of room, often lacking in slingshots. The hefty roll bar assures adequate protection, while hidden safety belt adds its bit. The few gauges are mounted in the deck panel. Great little project for you model builders. Tackle something like that. Shot of the engine here. Engine in the dragster is a 55 DeSoto with all the accessories exposed and within easy reach. Car's belly pan, added later, helps keep mill spotless. Engine cover is made of aluminum. How's she work out? Out of 7 races to date, 6 were wins. 3 of these championships. Best ET is 1121. T ain't bad when you consider that it shades the national champ. B modified roadster by 11/100ths of a second. T-bones for McTwister. Here's a whole story if you guys want to read. I'll just slowly pan through. Maybe a comical read for you. Easy to pause and follow along if you need to. We'll get a few pages here. Sorry about the silence. I didn't realize this one was that long, but already started, so you might as well finish it. The Tactical T, a little hot rod wagon. Up here we got the engine. Engine room is fitted with what looks stock, but beneath the mill head is overboard filled with Model A pistons. The wagon-like car is a good performer. The wagon seat below was pirated from an abandoned wagon-drawn vehicle. It is reported that the ride in it is exciting, what with sprung seat. Sole gauge on the car's dashboard is a necessary ammeter. And on back, tailgate sign proclaims the merits of trading at the owner's service station. Taillight is an early oil burner. Note the Ruck-style differential. Very much sought after component, even in the T's heyday. Head-on view of the brass radiator T will bring back memories to many old-timers who might have stripped down a passenger car to convert it to a more useful vehicle for use on the family farm. There it is again, the 76. Wonder if the 76 is a gas station. Anyone for T? High inside of coupe is as stark as they come. Late V8 rear end has moved wheels out so that the fenders barely cover them. Car is black. This page is cut up pretty funny, so we're not going to be able to catch a lot of it. But of course, we got some nice pictures. Don't see many kind of full height T's anymore. You can see all the writing is chopped off, so I can't really follow along there. Rebuilding a 15. A little how-to. Redoing all the wood framing. Majority of the structure of those Model Ts is all in the woodwork. They were just a shiny tin-covered wagon. In the beginning, the Roaring 20s, and while they were titled for the draw, the dawn of an era was rushed in to the accompaniment of a Michiganer roar from a thundering four-banger twisted to quadruple its design maximum. Backyard engineering discovered early that engines properly treated could be made to yield many times the output originally supposed, and even the most docile Ford could be transformed into fire-breathing monster ready to be unleashed against even the furious Bearcats and racebouts of the day. Thus we salute the embarkment of hot rodding as we turn back the pages of what is termed a modern-day sport to its very logical beginning. Howard Casilla was bitten by the hot rod bug. Building a little speedster. Speedster using essentially what was available to the builder back in 1913. So period correct hot rod in 1957. Buffalo wire wheels are at a premium today. Casilla found these on an original 22 coupe. Had to purchase the complete car in order to bring them home. Fine restoration is matched only by Bug's performance. Car can reach an honest 75 miles per hour with ease. Has left many surprised motorists with this picture in their mind. Good view of the aft end as the car accelerates away. Horseless carriage license plate. Big brass radiator headlights and the spotlight announced the speedster's approach. This type of Bug was the hot rod of 1913, typified by fast look, the barest minimum of accessories, wire wheels, and a windshield. Check the gas tank there. I bet you those are a riot to drive. Oh no. Tortured T-bone. Got some illustrations. Looks almost like the XR6 kit. Tortured T-bone. A little cartoony there. Nice little 5 window. Really wild winged machine. Yellow Peril. I believe this is another clever car, I do believe. The Model T Speedster is not a factory model of a Ford car. It reproduces the historical significance Bug body type, which was commonly built by sports-minded individual Ford owners of the teens period. The Yellow Peril is an original composite developed from early photographs and descriptive data. Mechanical components, accessories, construction methods are authentic. Overhead shot there. Simple bucket seats. Looks like a hot rod, doesn't it? Give them check out that. Yellow and black. 6 in a row. Mated 2. A T engines together. Took 2 4s and made a 6. Happily perched atop the chassis of perhaps the only 6-cylinder Model T, the owner gets set to take a trial spin and is one of a kind. Neatly encased within the double block is a crankshaft and cam, both welded in 5 places. Car's frame had to be lengthened for the mill. Very interesting. Talking about how he had to teach himself how to weld and everything to accomplish it. Ingenuity. Better than original. Making some remanned or repopped sheet metal for the T's. Finding your first T. Really happy sight. A restorable 23 Roadster practically begging for rejuvenation. True T enthusiasts wouldn't pass up such a find, though hood, front fenders, and radiator are gone. This one's a nice little trivia here. Many think of the pre-1926 open cars as not having left doors, but here is proof to the contrary. This 1914 Roadster was built in Canada for use in right-hand drive Europe. So, one of those Model T trivia notes for you guys. Don't overlook a Model TT truck when searching for restorable Fords. This 1917 Ford truck, built on 1-ton chassis, could be a real prize winner at shows, for it's quite unusual. A little workhorse. Continuing on, finding your T. Rarest of the rare T's, number 714, nearing completion by Pasadena's Eastwood Brothers. This car originally had 2 hand levers and only 2 foot pedals. Only one other, model number 19 or number 710, is known to exist now. So 710 and 714 were hand and foot controls. Restored T's must not necessarily be factory stock. Enthusiast Dan Post unearthed this prized Mercury body for a T, from which a really rare speedster will result. Rod Custom reading. Well, there's the end of that story. Finish your story. Cartoon contest. Rods and customs in miniature for us model car guys. We've seen many a strange creation pass through these swing doors since last November, but this one just about does it. Our first inclination was to step inside, lift the receiver, and dial the operator. However, after checking over the winning cars of our recent contest, we found David Ramsted's 8th place winning 1915 Model T sedan by Revell bore a strange resemblance. It seems the body halves were shortened by removing the door sections with a jeweler's saw. Then the rear quarters were joined to the front section at the doorpost. The saw was used again at this time, turning the hard top into an open-air machine and possibly giving the occupants adequate headroom. Once assembled, automotive primer was applied in many coats and block sanded using 400 grit paper. 12 coats of bright orange dope were applied and finished off rubbing compound to high luster. The frame is from Revell's 32 Hot Rod kit and is channeled to give a level appearance, even though the rear tires are of much larger diameter than those up front. The other front-end modifications, with the exception of the chopped 32 radiator, is the tie rod, which has been placed in front of the axle. The engine compartment is running over with a big blown injected Buick V8 having black block, chromed accessories, and gold rocker covers. The moon disc type hubcaps were made from thin sheet aluminum. At this point, all who have viewed this rolling phone booth were trying to figure out ways to getting in and out of the thing. The only solution was to replace the seat with a pair of buckets, place a delivery truck door in the rear, and mount a chrome step plate over the quick change rear end. Quite the unusual contraption. There's another shot showing off that blown Buick. Show how low it is as the rear door. Neat little take on the 25T or 1915T. And see comic. Nearing the end, guys. Fins, all shapes and sizes. Tall fins from little fenders grow. Taking some round stock, creating a new shape. Adding sheet metal to blend it on out. Fins continued. Got a few to look at. Three-way taillight system consisting of 2 DeSoto and 1 Ford lenses has been incorporated along with a chromed accessory panel. Work was performed by customizing enthusiast Arlen of Oakland, California. Oakland, Texas. The rear fenders of the 53 Hudson have been extended and with what has been termed a square round type taillights Frenched horizontally. Flares have been carried forward. Rear appearance is pleasing. An example of Eastern craftsmanship are the fins added to this 54 Buick Skylark. The original taillights have been retained in the stock-looking example of what the Detroit designers may yet give us. Got some wild ones there. Rarely restyled 55 Pontiac with sharp protruding fins blended to the tops of the fenders, which have been built up higher than stock. The taillights are comprised of Ford units. The car is from Santa Cruz, California. Termed an off-side fin, a father and son team put their heads together and came up with this novel fin arrangement on their 52 Ford. Car is a perpetual trophy getter in and around Central California. Robert Metz, builder of several outstanding custom, whipped up the split fin when he was not busy on the Rod Custom Dream Truck. Twin fin car will be featured in a near feature on Rod and Custom. Look forward to that. Got a few more examples here. An attempt at fin building back in the days when the craze had barely begun on a Studebaker. Neat taillights or Plymouths, which made slight fin buildup necessary. The car is from Chicago. Little added fin to the Studebaker. The back half of each rear fender on this 1950 Ford was squared off and Mercury lenses with Chevy backups added. Burbank's well-known Valley Custom Shop was responsible for the work on this fine Ford. Sharp concave fin characterized the aft section of this 49 Ford. Fins penetrate back to the fender panel on top of horizontally flared impressions. Taillights from the Studebaker are inverted. We didn't intend to show you this just yet, but since new car introductions seem to come earlier every year, here's a sneak preview of Rod & Custom's truck with its new for 58 look. More on the subject next month. Aircraft type tail fins of plastic were molded to the back fenders of this 53 Studebaker. Fins continue to rear edges of doors. Taillights pirated from a Dodge. Work done by the owner. Those will definitely grab your attention. Swooping fins were added to this 50 Cadillac along with Lincoln tail and backup lenses, both of them encased by a Frenched roll made of 1-inch diameter rod. The giant fins measure 20 inches in length. Not a bad look for the 50 Cadillac. And we get the J.C. Whitney. The Buick Ford. Some more shots of that gorgeous car. New touch and striping is wide white lines framed by contrasting pinstripe. Know how French bumper adds apparent width to the car. Beneath hood, one finds nearly as much glitter as topside and driver's room. Not visible is a pleated panel beneath the car's hood. Nearly all moldings and contour lines are outlined with a fine pinstripe. White stripes are in sharp contrast to the car's color. Light touch by our cover girl, Sue Altman. Opens door. Micro switch behind ornament energizes solenoid connected to the door latch. A little touch there on the pop-out doors. The Hot Rod Bug. Let's see some more of that little speedster. The cockpit oval tank was handmade by Casilla, including Ford script. Reposes behind the bucket seats, which offer little security to the passenger. Accessories include a foot throttle. Big engine is loaded with speed equipment, but still retains the stock bore and stroke. Head is a Reho competition model. Car carburetor is Chevrolet, only part of car that is not 1913. Back pressure. No power plant in the history of automobile was ever less suited to competition requirements than Henry Ford's Model T, and no engine was probably ever more widely used for racing. From about 1916, when small-time auto racing on horse tracks first got rolling in this country, until the Ford Model A became established in the early 30s, the Model T engine was the object of every modification a hop-up trick in the speed enthusiast's book. I've seen T racing engines that carried no stock Ford part but the cylinder block, and that was butchered plenty. And I've seen successful T's with only modern modifications. A flathead version once ran at Indianapolis. To continue that one. And that'll wrap it up for today on Vintage Magazine Monday. Great look, had some beautiful Model Ts and a beautiful car down there. If you made it to the end, I have to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.